with a Congressman from the Democratic caucus, and to take a look out at LAX. We're talking about the shutdown, the impact of flights too. Stay with us. Well, just before that break, I was speaking with Mike Madrid, who gave us a sense of the politics of this shutdown for both parties. For a view from inside the Congressional Democratic Caucus, joining us now from his district office in Sherman Oaks, it is Representative Brad Sherman. Congressman Sherman, we're so happy to have you, especially on a night where everyone is talking about Congress. Thanks for being with us.
Good to be with you.
I say people are talking about Congress in part because, as we saw, the Senate now vote to approve a new funding bill to end this government shutdown. Of course, your body still has to vote on this. But a lot of folks and a lot of Democrats are saying, what was the point of all this? Because weren't Democrats holding out for an extension to Affordable Care Act tax subsidies, which they did not get? So what was the point? What do you tell voters?
I'd say that while 49% of the country voted for Democrats, we have virtually no power in Washington. They control the White House, they control the House of Representatives, and only in very peculiar circumstances do we have any control over what goes on in the Senate. In this case, I think 7 Democratic senators made a mistake, and as a result, it's going to be unlikely that we are able to restore the subsidies for Obamacare, and we're going to see the majority, at least, of the 22 million people affected will see much higher premiums. That being said, our power in the Senate only exists because there's a filibuster, a rule that says you need 60 votes. And Republicans are in a position to repeal that rule. And if they were ever to make the Senate a purely majoritarian institution by changing the rules, then we'd have no power in the Senate as we have no power in the House. So it's tough to build governmental power in a situation where you have a minority in the House and a minority in the Senate.
Well, Congressman Sherman, President Trump posted on Truth Social on election night, imploring and urging Senate Republicans to do away with exactly what you're talking about, the filibuster. And there's reasons, perhaps, that the Senate Republicans decided not to. But as you bring that up, they chose not to. Do you think that the filibuster is still in threat?
I think that had this shutdown gone on for another month and a half, and it would have taken that long, you would have seen some more Republicans move toward abolishing the filibuster. The filibuster is grating on Democrats when it's the first 2 years of the Biden administration, and we have control of the Senate, the House, and the White House, because it slows things down. It gives the minority party some power. But during the first 2 years of the Trump administration, it's the only thing that saved us from full-on Trump. And right now, it is the only power we have in Congress at all.
Well, and Congressman Sherman, that power, should Democrats exercise that power, which to some degree we saw for about 40 some odd days of this shutdown, it requires the strong leadership to get the message to the entire caucus there and all the Democrats in Senate to be lockstep. We saw that break down. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer upset with this deal, but unable to wrangle that handful of Democrats that voted to fund the government. What do you feel now about party leadership, and in particular, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer?
I think Hakeem Jeffries is a very effective leader in the House of Representatives. We are, I think, overwhelmingly going to vote against this deal, just as we did the first bill back in September. I can't evaluate Chuck Schumer. Everybody wants to evaluate who should be the coach of the team when they've never been in the locker room. I leave it to our 2 Democratic senators, both of whom are my friends, Alex Padilla and Adam Schiff, to really evaluate how effective a leader Schumer is. But no matter how effective a leader you are, you can't literally force the members of your caucus to vote one way or the other. And whether some other leader could have somehow held on to these 7 or 8 Democratic senators, or 7 Democratic senators and 1 independent, I don't know. I'm not in the locker room.
Yeah, and we know both those California senators, Senator Padilla, Senator Schiff, both disagreed with this deal as well. So gives a sense of where we are on this, and of course, asking you to talk about the Senate. Obviously not your body, but there are Congress members in the House, like Rep. Tlaib, for instance, who have been, or Priya Jayapal, I should say, who have said, look, this leadership needs to end. And now there are voters who are hearing this, and they're thinking that some of them are frustrated with what we're seeing from Democrats, and the 2026 elections are coming up. You will have your hands full, as all Congress members will, defending your seat, including one of your former staffers who is calling for generational change, and he's getting in, and perhaps he will poke at some of what we've seen here as well. What would you like to say about this upcoming election? What would you like to say to those who are considering whether to vote for you as they're taking stock of what the Democrats have been up to for the last 40-some-odd days?
Well, that former staffer has already backed out of the race. And that doesn't, I have got plenty of opponents, and I look forward to seeing what they have to say during the campaign. Proposition 50 just passed, and it very considerably changes my district. And they came to me in the process of drafting that initiative, and they said, Sherman, you're most popular in the San Fernando Valley, and we've got to take a third of your Valley constituents away from you in order to make Julia Brownlee completely safe, and more importantly, in order to make George Whitesides, who was a swing district, a district we had lost just a couple years ago, and to make that a safe seat. And I said, look, this isn't about me. We have got to win the House of Representatives back in 2026. The whole country depends upon that. If we don't do that, Trump will claim another huge victory, and we'll have him on super steroids. So I told them, do whatever you need to do to make sure we're doing all we can to defeat Donald Trump. As a result, the entire Simi Valley, city of Simi Valley is in my district, and I look forward to being there tomorrow for a big Veterans Day event. I look forward to meeting constituents. They don't know me as well as the ones in the San Fernando Valley, but hopefully I can win them over.
Well, Veterans Day is coming up, as you graciously remind us, and we are thankful to you for coming on the show tonight and for talking a bit about some of these big issues, and of course Prop 50, the big impact. Big day for Democrats, that was. Congressman Sherman, thank you so much for being with us. It's great to have you on the show.
Good to be with you.
All right, we'll be as loud.